In the world of cloud computing, there is a dangerous paradox. If you do your job perfectly, everyone in management assumes you do nothing at all. My name is Olivia. I was the lead cloud architect for a rapidly scaling SaaS, software as a service, enterprise. In modern DevOps, you don't build servers by hand. You build them with code. I was managing over 400 active cloud instances simultaneously. But I wasn't doing it by clicking through endless menus. I managed the entire ecosystem through infrastructure as code, using a highly complex web of proprietary Python scripts and automated Docker container orchestration that I built from the ground up. My code acted as an invisible engine. It monitored server loads, automatically scaled microservices during traffic spikes, and purged memory caches in the dead of night. Because of this absolute automation, our platform maintained a flawless 99.99% uptime. The board of directors never saw the brutal memory spikes, the automated load balancing, or the self-healing architecture. They just looked at a perfectly green dashboard on their iPads. And because the dashboard was always green, they started to believe that managing a multi-million-dollar cloud environment was simply easy. If you have ever engineered a system so brilliantly flawless that a toxic executive decided your expertise was no longer necessary, keep watching. Welcome back to Scars and Silk. Hit that subscribe button right now, because today, I am going to show you what happens when you quietly hand over the keys to a machine that the new boss doesn't even know how to turn on. The illusion of simplicity is an absolute magnet for opportunists. That opportunist arrived in the form of Marcus, our newly appointed IT operations manager. Marcus was a spreadsheet guy. He had never deployed a server instance, written a bash script, or looked at a raw Linux terminal in his entire life. His management style consisted entirely of regurgitating tech buzzwords and quietly claiming ownership over the silent labor of his engineers. As the end-of-year performance reviews approached, Marcus realized he needed a major corporate win to justify his massive salary. He looked at my cloud environment. He saw the dramatically reduced OPX, operational expenditure, and the flawless, automated continuous integration and continuous deployment, or CI/CD, pipelines. During the Q4 executive board meeting, Marcus presented the global efficiency reports. He stood in front of the executive team and boldly claimed that the seamless scalability and the automated resource allocation were the direct results of his new agile cloud strategy. He threw around expensive terminology he barely understood, talking about API gateways, serverless computing, and optimized DevOps pipelines. He completely took credit for the invisible Python engine I had spent 2 years building. The board members, who didn't know the difference between a Docker container and a PDF file, ate it up. They praised his visionary leadership and rewarded him with a massive executive bonus and a promotion to Director of Cloud Strategy. I sat in the back of the room, completely unacknowledged. I didn't get a bonus. I didn't get a raise. I got a generic, automated HR email thanking me for being a team player. But Marcus's arrogance didn't stop at stealing my credit. Now that he had the director title, he decided my senior architect salary was a negative mark on his pristine budget spreadsheet. And he formulated a plan to make me obsolete. To secure his newly inflated profit margins, Marcus needed to cut operational costs. And as the highest paid engineer in the entire department, I was the biggest target on his spreadsheet. Marcus believed his own lie. He genuinely thought the cloud infrastructure was running itself, which meant he no longer needed a principal architect. He just needed someone cheap to watch the green lights on the dashboard. Enter Kevin. Marcus hired his old fraternity buddy, Kevin, for a fraction of my salary. Kevin was officially brought in as a senior cloud administrator, but his actual technical background consisted entirely of managing basic help desk tickets and clicking through colorful graphical user interfaces. He had absolutely zero experience managing scalable Kubernetes clusters, zero knowledge of automated cloud provisioning, and was visibly terrified of a blank Linux command terminal. But to Marcus, an engineer was just an engineer. Marcus called me into his glass-walled office for a sudden realignment meeting. He told me that my role was being restructured to focus on back-end legacy maintenance. He wanted Kevin to immediately take over the primary deployment pipelines and granted him full root access to the production cloud environment. Marcus framed it as a brilliant cost optimization strategy to the board, but the reality was crystal clear. He was aggressively demoting me, hoping I would quit in frustration so he could permanently replace my salary with an underqualified junior admin who would never question his authority. He slid a piece of paper across the desk and ordered me to hand over the master SSH keys, the administrative credentials, and all the system documentation to Kevin by the end of the week. Marcus thought he was executing a flawless corporate checkmate. He had no idea he had just ordered me to hand over the steering wheel of a high-speed train to a man who didn't even know how to use the brakes. I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. When a toxic manager demands to take over a highly complex architecture to feed his own ego, the absolute worst thing you can do is stand in his way. I smiled, signed the realignment paperwork, and agreed to the transition plan. I spent the next 3 days meticulously handing over exactly what was requested. I gave Kevin the master administrative passwords, the official server IP addresses, and the standard company documentation. But there is a massive difference between the official standard operating procedures, the SPs, and the reality of how a complex cloud environment actually survives. The official documentation didn't include the invisible engine. It didn't include my proprietary Python codebase. It didn't include the undocumented, automated shell scripts or the silent cron jobs that I had personally written to purge dead memory and autoscale the containers at 3 in the morning. Those scripts weren't company property. They were my personal intellectual property, stored securely in my private repository. Since Marcus had officially declared that my advanced automation was no longer required and that Kevin was perfectly capable of handling the deployment pipelines manually, I simply followed his instructions. I disconnected my proprietary codebase from the production environment. I deleted the silent cron jobs. I didn't break a single rule, and I didn't damage a single server. I just handed them a highly complex, manual system exactly as they requested. I want to pause the story right here. I am talking directly to every brilliant woman architecting solutions in the background. Have you ever smiled, nodded, and quietly let a toxic boss walk straight into a trap of his own making? Go down to the comments right now and drop a ghost or a cloud if you know that the most dangerous form of revenge is simply doing exactly what you were told. And make sure you hit that subscribe button to join the Scars and Silk Network. Because you need to see exactly how fast a stolen empire crumbles when the invisible engine stops running. Back to the story. I packed up my desk, moved to my new cubicle in the legacy maintenance department, and poured myself a cup of coffee. I gave their stolen cloud architecture exactly 2 weeks before it started to suffocate. The beautiful thing about complex cloud environments is that they rarely die in a massive, cinematic explosion. Without proper automation, they die of slow, agonizing suffocation. For the first few days after the handover, everything seemed fine. The dashboard stayed green because servers have momentum. Marcus even walked past my new desk with a smug smile, convinced that he had successfully cut costs and secured his legacy without a single glitch. But underneath the shiny front end, the technical debt was rapidly accumulating. Without my automated background scripts handling the daily log rotation, the system logs began silently eating up terabytes of raw disk space. Without my proprietary auto-scaling algorithms monitoring the traffic, the Docker containers couldn't purge their dead cache. By day 7, minor memory leaks started compounding. The CPU utilization on our primary clusters crept up from a healthy 40% to a red line of 95%. Latency spikes began triggering internal alarms. Tasks that used to take my Python scripts exactly 3 seconds to execute autonomously were now taking Kevin 4 hours of frantic, manual clicking. But the real nightmare for Kevin was that advanced cloud infrastructure cannot be managed solely through a pretty graphical user interface, a GUI. When the servers started throwing critical out-of-memory, or OM, errors, the dashboard completely locked up. The only way to save the network was to SSH directly into the core servers and manually kill the rogue processes using the Linux command line interface, the CLI. And Kevin was absolutely terrified of the command line. I sat comfortably in my cubicle, sipping my coffee, watching the internal ticketing system explode. Customers were complaining about massive API timeouts. The sales team couldn't process transactions. Kevin was running around the office, sweating through his shirt, blindly rebooting random servers and praying the green lights would come back on. The invisible engine was gone, and the entire multi-million-dollar cloud architecture was slowly bleeding to death. Exactly 2 weeks after the handover, the slow bleed turned into a catastrophic hemorrhage. One of our biggest enterprise clients launched a massive global marketing campaign, hitting our servers with an unprecedented peak traffic burst. In a properly managed cloud environment, the auto-scaling groups would detect the load and automatically spin up 50 new container instances in a matter of seconds. But Kevin didn't know how to configure elastic provisioning. When the traffic hit, the primary load balancers completely choked. The core databases deadlocked, the active memory overloaded, and the entire production cloud environment flatlined. Every single client went dark simultaneously. We were instantly bleeding hundreds of thousands of dollars in real-time SLA, service level agreement, breaches. Marcus sprinted out of his glass office, his face pale and covered in panic sweat. He bypassed Kevin completely and stormed straight to my cubicle in the legacy department. The network is completely down. Clients are threatening to pull their contracts. Get on the terminal and fix the auto-scaling right now, he screamed, trying to pull rank in front of the entire floor. I didn't touch my keyboard. I calmly took a sip of my coffee, opened my monitor, and pulled up the official change management protocol and the company's access control list, the ACL. I literally cannot do that, Marcus, I said, my voice perfectly level. According to the cost optimization strategy you presented to the board, my root privileges were completely permanently revoked 14 days ago. I do not have the SSH keys, I do not have firewall access, and I am strictly forbidden from altering the production pipelines. He stared at me, his jaw clenching. He tried to claim I was being insubordinate during a critical corporate emergency. I printed a copy of the exact handover document he had forced me to sign. I highlighted his own signature at the bottom. I am not being insubordinate. I am flawlessly executing the exact job description you assigned to me. You explicitly stated that Kevin was the senior cloud administrator now. I suggest you ask him to type the commands. Marcus looked over at Kevin, who was literally holding his head in his hands, staring blankly at a frozen terminal screen. Marcus suddenly realized he wasn't just facing a massive cloud outage. He was trapped in a dead end of his own making, with absolutely no one left to steal credit from. The cloud outage lasted for 4 agonizing hours. By hour 5, the CEO and the executive board were directly involved. Marcus was forced to stand in the executive boardroom, sweating and stammering, finally forced to admit that his brilliant, agile cloud strategy was entirely dependent on the woman he had just aggressively demoted. The CEO bypassed Marcus entirely and called me directly into the boardroom. He begged me to implement a disaster recovery protocol and restore the enterprise infrastructure before the major clients formally terminated their contracts. I calmly walked into the room, but I didn't sit down. Instead, I handed the CEO my formal resignation letter, effective immediately. I politely explained that I had already accepted a significantly higher-paying lead cloud architect position at our biggest competitor. However, I told him that as an independent contractor, I was willing to offer them an emergency architectural consulting retainer to stabilize their bleeding network. My fee? A flat $500,000 for exactly 48 hours of work, paid up front, to restore the baseline architecture and deliver a definitive root cause analysis report directly to the board. With millions of dollars in SLA penalties piling up by the minute, the CEO didn't even negotiate. He signed my consulting agreement on the spot. I didn't reinstall my proprietary Python scripts or rebuild their invisible engine. I simply logged back into the terminal, manually spun up the necessary Docker containers, stabilized the core load balancers, and restored basic functionality to keep the clients online. Then, I spent the remaining 47 hours writing a devastating, highly technical root cause analysis report. The documentation mathematically proved that the entire systemic failure was the direct result of Marcus's gross administrative negligence and Kevin's complete lack of cloud certification. Before my 48-hour consulting contract expired, both Marcus and Kevin were escorted out of the building by corporate security, officially fired for cause. I cashed my $500,000 check, walked out of the building, and went to start my new job. To every brilliant woman building the invisible engines of the corporate world, your power is not in convincing toxic management of your worth. Your power is knowing that they literally cannot survive without you. Sometimes, the most devastating revenge isn't fighting back. It's simply stepping out of the way and letting gravity do its job. If you know the true value of your code, go down to the comments right now and drop a terminal laptop computer or a server file cabinet so I know you are watching. And make sure you hit that subscribe button to join the Scars and Silk Empire. Build your architecture, own your scripts, and never give away your engine for free.